Hey there, I'm Jacob Magalas, and this is the beginning of Love Vortex Energy, an inspirational YouTube video channel to help bring a little bit of clarity and motivation into people's lives. Today, I'm going to be talking about three things: acting, learning, and repetition. To build a motivating or inspirational passion, you have to build habits around that. And the simplest way to do that is acting, learning, and repeating. Now, let's get started. To start with acting, I'm going to bring you a little bit of an acronym for ACT. Action, creation, and timing. Action is initiating the moment, activating your moment. Your moment is constantly happening. We're constantly in the presence of our own experience, but you have to activate it to truly get the most out of your experience, or else life will drag you by as if on a stream. If you don't paddle and choose which estuary you go down to, then you will never reach the level of creator beingness that you can with your environment, your reality. Now, that moves on to creation. We are part of creation. We are a creation within creation. So by activating your own moment, by acting, and by consistently going for the passions which drive us, which allow us to feel bliss in the moment, that will allow you to truly activate your own creation. And finally, timing. Timing is key. Now is all that has ever been. The moment is consistently happening now. The past and the future are only reference points that we take from the now moment that we are having. So when people put things off, or they take time to wait for action, they're only detrimentally affecting themselves. And if you want to build a passion and eventually turn it into a career, or turn it into something where you can make value back, then you have to take action now. It's essentially critical. Now, that leads us to learning. First you act, and in that moment of acting you learn. This process will build residual results in the creation of that passion, in building what you're learning. Now, how do we learn? Learning is focused understanding. After action, whether it's a success or a failure, you have to learn in that moment. Now, the moment is constantly trying to teach us, whether we're aware of it or not. Most people walk through life unconsciously, instead of observing the reoccurring and reciprocal pattern of life, a biofeedback loop, which is happening, which is what allows evolution. If one is to take how many streams of different plants and biologies are currently in our planet, and one is to think that it takes about 10 million years for an evolutionary path to occur, then all of these different species we have wouldn't be possible. So there must be a biofeedback loop in the universe that creates a much faster process or pattern of learning. Now, this learning that you must do, it starts in failure. The second we fail, we see what we do wrong. The second we fell as we walked is when we got up again to learn to walk. If we didn't get up again, we would have never walked, and you would have never gotten to the point where you could achieve something more. That's why learning starts in failure, and so many people who are afraid to act are doing so because they're afraid to fail. And that's where success truly comes in, the second you start taking your failures as learning points. Now I'm going to bring you to the how of learning, and that's myelin. Myelin is a specific neuron which is grown in your brain when you learn something new. People that get addicted to learning start learning so much more. You know the people that will pick up the piano, then they'll pick up the guitar, and then they'll pick up a multitude of other things, because they're getting used to growing melanin in their brain, a specific neuron, which is the adaptive learning neuron. I highly suggest that you go do more research on melanin, because there are many books written about it, and it's very helpful to know how our brain learns when you are in the process of learning. Now, this action and learning is so critical together, but not at all if you don't put it together with repetition. It takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. So you act, you learn, and you repeat. You will fail. And in that failure, you will find success. You will see how certain things went right. And from that, you can build. Repetition is key because it's how the biofeedback loop is constantly reiterating, like a source code. Allowing the source code to initiate by taking control of your moment, acting, and then learning from that moment. And the key point here is to say, why did I fail? What was it about the technique, about my particular standing point or progression point that caused me to fail? What was it about my presumptions or where I came from in what I was doing that caused me to fail? Now, that key is what allows the repetition to speed up your learning process. And the only thing that will speed up your acting process is you. And that's why I said timing. It's now. You have to take control of that moment now so that you can build your passions and eventually, create a hobby where you excel and you go to the Olympics or multitude of different things. Now, I will bring you to our last point, which is, it pretty much sums up everything that's been talked about in this video. Action is taking control of your moment. Learning is reflecting on what you've done. Now, action without thinking will very often lead to failure. Thinking without acting will lead to no progression and no results. However, acting and thinking together is the basis of creating a mastermind. And that is the syntropy of your brain and your heart, which both create an electromagnetic field in its process. Your heart's creating an electromagnetic field, and your brain's creating an electromagnetic field. Your emotions are creating an electromagnetic field, and your thoughts are creating an electromagnetic field. To synthesize those and create harmony within them will allow you much more power in your ability to create with reality. And this is why someone who's going on and acting without thinking, or just thinking and not acting, will not truly access the manifestation potential that so many have shown as human beings in their awesomeness. Thank you. This is Jacob Maglas again. I'm glad you joined us, and stay tuned for some more amazing videos. This has been Love Vortex Energy, and stay tuned also for the My Focus book, teaching how I got through my struggle with ADHD and overcame some of the diseases that I was told I had. Now, I'd love it if you could throw a comment, tell me what's your favorite thing to act on, what's your favorite way to reflect and how you learn the best. And then of course, I'd always love it if you threw a share. Enjoy the rest of your day.